Good morning. It is Friday. That means it's time for Feature Friday with Business by Design Online. I'm Katie Sevenance, and I'm so glad you could join us. Today, our guest, her name is Stephanie Schoolmeester, and she is amazing. I've only met her online once in person, and I can't wait to get to know more about her. And I know you're going to feel the same because those of you who know her already said, oh my gosh, you got to talk to her. So I'm going to bring up my friend, Stephanie. Yay. Good morning.
Woo!
It's Friday. Woohoo. Oh my
Happy
gosh, I love
Friday.
your necklace. That's so
Thank
fun.
you. I don't go a day without wearing this necklace. I love it.
I love that. That's really cool. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get to know you. So let me put your name up here too. I missed that. There we go. Oh, it only shows part of your name, but
It's so long. It's the longest name in history, I think.
I thought I had a long one. My full name is Catherine Sevenance, and it was like it doesn't fit on anything, but only my mom and my doctors call me Catherine. So, I just go by Katie. But oh my gosh. Okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you live? What's your family life like?
Yes. So I live on a farm, a little farm here in Colorado in Lafayette. My husband and I have four of our own horses. We have Arabian horses, and we also board other horses here at our house. It's another business that we have. We have some sheep. So some of you that might follow me online have seen some of the babies that have been born on our farm. It's been so much fun. And then we have a border collie. So I've always been a country girl and always lived on a little farm with animals, and it just keeps me grounded.
Oh my gosh. I love it. That would be my idea of like the perfect world is to have, okay, I'd have to have my kids and my grandkid, or I could just have my grandkid. Anyway, and then lots of animals. I'm an animal lover. Oh, that's so cool.
I love it. During
And
the middle of the day,
are you a Colorado native?
No, I am not. I am originally from Pennsylvania, and I went to school in Virginia, and I was a teacher in Virginia. So I was there for 12 years. But my heart, Katie, has always been, I want to say I've been a native, but I can't claim that. But my heart has always been in Colorado. In fact, I lived out here during the summer, during college. I was the director of a children's program. And every single time I would just drive out of the border, I would start crying because I just felt like I was leaving my heart. So I would come out here and ski every year. So I've been here since 2014, and it just feels like home. I love
Oh,
it
I
so much.
love that.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've only been here. It's 4 years this summer, and I'm from Washington State. And there are so many things I love about Washington State. I mean, really, I love it. I love how green it is. I love just the smells. But I can get that when I go hiking. I get the smells and the forest and the trees. I miss the water, but other than that, it's like Colorado is. We shouldn't say it so loud because then everybody will move here. But
I thought the same thing. Yeah, I know.
it's pretty amazing.
It's
I love it.
amazing. If
And
we had water, forget it. Everyone would be here.
I know exactly. That's the only thing missing is some really nice rivers and lakes. And people keep telling me we have them here, but not right in my neighborhood. So I have to
We do, but it's different than, and if you're like loving the ocean, we obviously don't have that here. But the rivers are really beautiful. But yes, I would like one by my house as well.
that would be good. Oh my gosh, I love it. So, what is obviously you have a hobby of horses, right? I mean, that to me and animals, I love that. What's your favorite, what's your day like on your farm?
Oh, goodness. My day, I work from home. So I have three businesses. So my day is really filled with, doing a lot of the work around my business. But the great thing is, I was saying earlier, it's so great to have a farm because, during the middle of the day is I have my chore is to go let horses in. We have different horses that go out to pasture and come in. And so I let my horses out in the middle of the afternoon. And it's the best part of my day because my horses will just follow me around like little puppy dogs. And it's the best part about my day, but it's also the worst. Like this, I'm a four-legged mom, so I don't have my own children, but it's like, when you have to say goodbye, like I'm like, I have to go back to work, and my horse is just standing there at the gate, like,
I
No,
want
I
to
want
play.
your love. But it does touch my heart so much because I never had that before. As being a teacher, I was constantly at work. So it's just so nice, to work having my dog here, being
Love
able
it.
to stop in the middle of the day and being a lifestyle entrepreneur means everything to me because I can create the life that I want to have. And so if I want to go out for a walk, which is what I normally do, and my favorite trails are actually right across the road from my house. So I'll go
Oh,
out for a big long walk. I'll come back and I'll feel energized and just ready to go. So it's really to answer your question in a very long way, it's finding the flow. Really, I found
great.
the flow. And because where I live energizes me so much, I use it to bring me the energy throughout my day to keep going and keep, coming from my heart, and staying grounded.
I love that. I could see, I might have to come visit you someday.
I would love
I
that.
know, that sounds really good. Okay, so you mentioned your lifestyle, I forgot what you said.
Entrepreneur.
Okay, tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about what you do. What is your business? Because I know you have your hands in a few different things, like you
I
said, three different
do.
businesses, but
Yeah.
they all go hand in hand. And I've heard so many great things about what you're doing. So will you share a little with us?
Yeah. So it's interesting. And I'll just tell you a little bit about my background. So I have been a teacher for 22 years. I've worked with children for 29. So that's been a huge passion of mine. But I got that entrepreneurial bug about 4 years ago, actually 5 years ago. And I realized, oh my goodness, there's such a thing as time freedom. There is such a thing that you could actually develop, your life and business around your soul. So Katie, in all honesty, that's been my journey for the last 4 years is how do I create a life around my soul? So everything that I do, it's so hard to talk about my businesses without, and it always goes so deep into my mission in life. So my three businesses are I lead a high vibe sisterhood tribe, and I lead a high vibe kids tribe, and I also have a holistic business with CBD products and just really self care and self love. And it all really wraps into, I loved how you said they're connected because they have to be connected into my core of really being here to help people transform into their best version of themselves. And so I teach really incredible life changing transformational tools that I learned myself when I went through a really, really, really hard time in my life. And it brought me from, I would say, barely surviving to thriving. And so now I am able to give that same gift that I was given back to my primary people I work with are the kids and women, and being able to share that back. So is really how do I navigate my emotions no matter what is happening inside or around me. And now with what we're going through in the world, it's always been important, but now more than ever, how do you create that calm when the world is falling apart? So that's really my specialty in all three of the businesses that I do. And I also it's like one more thing, I also am a social emotional specialist. So again, I've been a teacher. I have taken a step back from doing full time, but in the last couple of years, it's been such a blessing. Makes me tear up. I get to teach social emotional strategies to the children, and last year I was able to coach the social emotional specialist as the school district that I've been working with
Wow.
has rolled that out to their entire district. So it's been really what it comes down to is just being able to share, my gifts with the world. And it just, everything I do just lights me up so much. And it doesn't ever feel like work.
That is so awesome. And just talking about what you're doing with kids, why wait until we're adults and we don't know how to deal with situations? Why not help them at that level to make it through all the difficult times so they have better strategies and better strengths to deal with their emotional issues as they grow? Wow. Oh, like, why has it taken us so long to get to that?
It's critical. And it's interesting, Katie, because it's been something, when you're just born kind of just knowing that it's needed. And I go back in my life and I know why I just knew, because I feel like we have to go through, us getting our heart broken open sometimes to be able to find out what our mission is in life. And I had that, in my life. And I've always used these strategies with my kids in my classroom, but I was never really able to put it together until I left teaching to realize when not only when you teach these strategies to kids and adults, it's that emotional intelligence. And they say when you have that, you have 80% more success in everything that you do. So, the success rate of the kids in my classroom was really high, but it's really amazing to be able to bring that to women entrepreneurs that are also, how do I fill my own cup up, and how do I, feel really good inside? And then what happens is it happens so organically. I was like, my business is expanding. Oh my goodness, I'm bringing in more clients. Oh my goodness, I'm bringing in more income, because it's just how the energetics work. When you fill your own cup up and you know how to navigate your emotions and I call it high vibrational state, you just attract that into your life and your business. So it works hand in hand with everything that you do.
That is so awesome. I love it. And it sounds like you've got all kinds of great experience to share with our audience today. I know we talked about having some tips. Would you be willing to share a couple things with our audience?
Yes. So it's interesting because I was asked yesterday to share a training with the company I'm working with, the holistic company, the CBD company. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do a training on how to rise in resilience. And I think that's really important right now. So I'll give you some tips. My strengths are teaching you, their breathing energetic tips. But today I'm really going to focus on just the mindset piece. So the first and foremost is to have a daily practice. And for me, and what has brought me through everything in my life, is to be in gratitude, because whatever you focus on grows. So if you are focusing on the things in your life that are not working, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have more of that. And you're going to be in that, again, I go back to high vibration, low vibration. It's going to be very low vibration life. You're not going to feel energized. You're not going to feel like you want to do anything. And the people around you, you're not going to be able to be in that attraction mode either. So gratitude is my number one tip. It's actually the antidote to if you're feeling anxious, get yourself into gratitude. So I'll just show you really quickly, Katie. So I was like, I wasn't going to teach this, but I have to do some sort of breathing because that's everything I do. But one really simple tip is just to ground you. And I teach this to kids, and I teach this to the adults that I work with, is just putting your hands on your heart and just really focusing on your heart, and then just breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Yeah, let's try it. You can close your eyes and just focus on what you are grateful as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, really slowly. Good. And I do that for about 5 breaths, and it balances your nervous system, and it just takes that fight or flight out, where you don't have the gas, your foot on the gas and the foot on the brake at the same time. It just brings you into just clarity, and it brings you into grounding, and that stress just melts away. So that is my number one strategy is that's one of my daily practices, but I teach high vibrational practices. There's many more that I do, but find what works best for you. Some people meditate, some people I have to go out on trail every day and be in nature and walk. So something that really brings you back to yourself. I always say my business is really, if I put it in one phrase, is bringing you home to your strengths. So having a practice like that does that for yourself. And then, one thing I wanted to talk about is, we're all going through, if you're not going through it now, you have gone through it, especially entrepreneurs, some sort of pivot. So when you feel like you are failing, I hate the word failing, it's falling forward. So when you feel like you've come to a pit stop or a pitfall, or you feel like you're down, these are my tips in order to be able to rise. So really celebrate all of your wins, celebrate everything, because sometimes I'm always trying to reach, I always have goals that I'm always trying to go for, and I'm not always reaching those goals, but I am always getting better, and I am always getting closer to those goals. So even if you're not reaching your goals, celebrate the small wins. So celebrate no matter how small they are, because again, whatever you focus on grows. And if you're focusing on what is wrong, you're never going to be able to make that growth in order to expand to where you need to be, to become who you need to be to get to that next step. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I hear that all the time from people. You'll talk to somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's just nobody wants to talk to me, or nobody's calling, or no, and it's like, that's what you're putting out there. You can feel that energy, but when you can shift it over and start appreciating every little thing, it's amazing how lifted you feel, how ready you are for the day. You wake up and you're like, oh, yay, what am I going to do today? What am I going to accomplish today? Instead of just like, oh, I have so many things on my list I have to do. There's so many little shifts we can make throughout the day that can really change and just go, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I get to work from home, and, whatever it might be, finding those little moments that you can celebrate.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
So important. Katie, that's a great point, because I always tell my clients and my kids, before your feet hit the ground, focus on gratitude. Do your gratitude breathing. Start your day like that, and bookmark your day and end your day like that. Because I remember, this is the girl that lived a life of just complete stress. You go to bed stressed, you can't sleep, you're waking up and thinking, you said, about the to-do all the time. Your body can never relax. But if you started off balancing your nervous system, focusing on the gratitude, ending your day like that, and ending your day on your wins, all of a sudden you clean your slate, and you can go to sleep, and you can it means everything, really. It just changes your entire makeup of how you run your life. If you can start your day and end your day, your life is completely different. It's completely different. So it's like you wear different lenses, right? You can wear different lenses to be negative Nelly, or you can wear your lenses to be, I don't have a name, positive Polly. I don't know.
There you go.
I have no idea where that came from. But you know what I mean? It's literally, and it doesn't mean that, some people look at my life and they're like, oh, I'm like, no, I've been through hell and back again. But it's what I decided to focus on that made me resilient. And I think during this time, it's like, we need to know, that's what I teach kids. They need to know how to be resilient, because life is not going to be easy all the time. And we all know that now because of COVID. We've all had to pivot, but these tips are going to help business owners
every day.
Life, right?
Yeah. There's one thing I just heard this week. A mentor of mine named Nikki Keohoa, with the Direct Selling Women's Alliance, she was just talking about how whatever is in your head 45 minutes before you fall asleep is what you wake up with. So what are you sitting up watching crime shows on TV, or are you reading a good book, or are you writing in your gratitude journal, or whatever? So I thought that was really good. It's like, okay, 45 minutes before you go to sleep, think about what's going in.
Yeah, whatever you're putting into your mind, and watching, and the news, all of that, we have to be so careful, because we need to be filling ourselves with as much positivity now more than ever. So it's incredibly important. And from there, the last tip is to really be able to adapt, and say, okay, what can I learn from this? My favorite question I ask myself, especially if I'm down: what is the lesson I need to learn from this? Because if we, again, and I keep going back to that high vibration, low vibration, if we're like, back to your question, why is this always happening to me? Why can't I get clients? All of these things, instead of like, I wonder what I need to learn from this. I wonder what I need to do, the inside work that I need to change and become in order to be a better magnet of attraction to bring in more clients, or to whatever that is that you want. So to be able to really be, and I, being a teacher for so many years, I am a lifelong learner. If I see something, I'm like, what is the lesson in this? Okay, what can I learn, and what can I adapt, and what? And the other thing, Katie, is what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of and grab onto? And that's really and the quicker you can do this, the faster you will rise. Because if you let yourself stay down, and there's something about, learning from that time, but learn quickly and keep going forward. And then the last thing is optimize. After you adapt and see, what do I need to learn from this, then create an optimization. For me right now, what I've learned, my latest reflection, is that I am not a morning person. I've never been. I know that. I'm not a morning person. My mom got me something when I was little. It says I'm allergic to mornings. My students couldn't really talk to me until like 8 o'clock. It was silent reading until 8 o'clock, because it was just, and that's how I've always been. But what I'm learning, running, 3 businesses, I have to be on and on purpose. So I realized my morning, I needed to get tighter. I needed to wake up at a certain time. It needed to, and I needed to just optimize that. So looking at your life and seeing, What do I need to change? And then optimize, I call it your daily method of operation, your DMO. So what is that on a daily basis? Because that makes you what you are becoming every single day. And I know, I think you said 3. I'm sorry.
You're good. Oh my gosh, you're so awesome. This is great.
It's the very last thing, but make a list. If you have a goal, make a list of all the reasons that you can do this or whatever that is in what you're doing. Don't let that, I'm going to just say the negative committee, the itty bitty shitty committee come in and tell you that you can't have what your heart is telling you, your dreams are telling you can become, because I promise you, that's what I teach, how to come back to what your soul is here to do. If your heart and soul is telling you can do something, that is achievable. So start talking to yourself more than you listen to yourself. Start telling yourself all the reasons you can, and stop listening to all the reasons you can't. Your self-talk and everybody else around you, because if you're not surrounded by people that believe in you, get a new group of people. Because Katie, we're so lucky to be in, the polka dot tribe, where we have women that positive people that uplift us, but that is so important. So mindset and positivity inside and surrounding you, I would say is the last tip I have for just being able to rise in resiliency.
I think that's really key, because we can get stuck in all the things that you can't do, but when you can shift that to all the things you can do, and it's just different. We've been talking about this really most of the month, and it was one thing to go through a few months, and now it's going to be way longer than any of us expected. Yeah. And so I think more now than ever to really be clear on what your goals are, what your intention is, what you can do, and just let all that other stuff go. And there will be plenty of people sitting there going, yeah, you can't do that. Well, they've never tried either. They don't know, but who cares? They're not paying your bills. They're not living your dream. You're going to be the one living your dream. And sometimes, especially as an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to do more than the average person so that you can relax a little more later in life too. So yeah, exactly. I think that's awesome.
And just the last thing too, Katie, is I really want to make this point. I live in the world of ultimate possibilities. I always tell women, I teach them how to tap into their ultimate possibilities, power, and purpose. But so many times and I hate boxes. I mean, when I was teaching, I was like, I just felt like a lot of times we just put kids in a box. I'm like, no, I want you out of the box. I want you to be exactly who you are meant to be. So I really just want to make that point. If your heart is calling you to do something, if you think this is not possible, it absolutely is possible. And I think now more than ever, we're being called to create those impossible dreams to come true. And so not now. We can't do it during COVID.
Yes, we can. The opposite. Right? I agree with that. That's when all the creativity comes out, and you find a different way to do something differently. And I love that. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we had a chance to chat today. You are like a light, a shining light, and that is awesome, because I know you touch a lot of people. I mean, when I said we were going to fit you in here this week, it was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. She's amazing. Such great energy. I love that. And that's the thing, that positive energy is so attractive. It's so it's a magnet. Everyone wants to be around it. And there will be people, and they wonder why they can't grab a new friend, because it's like, ooh, they're just not always positive. So thank you for being you and sharing with us. So tell me, tell us how we can get a hold of you for those of people who want to reach out and find more ways to connect with you. What is the best way for them to connect with you?
I will. Is it okay if I put a link down after this? And I'll put a link down in there for my email and my contact information. And you can just, click on my website if you want to check out anything else. But I'll just put the link in there. But my business is called Vibrant Body and Soul. And you could just, you could Google that. vibrantbodymindandsoul.com. And
definitely put that link here. Yeah. So let me ask you though, I know we've got a couple minutes if you do. When all this hit your business, did you see some changes in your business? Did you have to get creative and change your mindset and go, okay, we can do this? I mean, were there things that kind of shifted for you and how you did your business too?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, Katie, because in this whole 4-year journey, I've been developing these programs for women, and I kept doing these programs, and the women would say, "We need more," and I would always say, "Okay." And when they needed more, I would, "Okay, plan another curriculum," and it got to the point where I realized I need a full year program, and the women were asking for that, so I had a full year program, so that was already in place, and boy, was that perfect timing to have a group and community that you can grow and transform with, especially during this time. So that was running, but I plan to do a 9-month program, and the 9-month program hit exactly when COVID hit. So, but what also happened during that time, I always look at synchronicities too. Pay attention, what happens when an event happens. And I was working in the school system, 10 hours a week. And I can say this without crying. We had some really heartbreaking things happen. We lost some students that took their lives right before COVID hit.
Wow.
And my heart was just, I was feeling the children's hearts more than anything. And so when we shut down and we didn't have that interaction anymore, even though I was working primarily with coaching the specialists, I could feel, I have this weird sense thing with kids. Like I just felt their hearts. I was like, you know what? I just did this online free course, social and emotional. That's why I created the High Vibe Kids Tribe. And I started to just do that for free for 2 weeks. Well, I realized it was becoming like a full-time job. And then people were asking, Stephanie, and they've been asking me for years, can you do this? And I didn't know that I could do, honestly, Katie, it was just like, is it the right time? I'm always like feeling the right time. And boy, there was no thinking. That's why I said, follow your heart. There was no thinking. It was like, this is happening. So I opened up another branch of my business for kids during that time. And so I had the women's group, I had the kids. And that's when I also discovered this holistic online CBD company, which is really interesting too. I'll just say really quickly, when it came my way, I was like, no way. I am not looking for any more businesses. I'm not looking for any more opportunities. But oh my goodness, during this time, it actually has become the one thing that has been the biggest gift in my life and for my husband, to be able to have this. And this is my why, is to really help him be able to come home. And it's just energizing me so much. And we talk again about that community. I have a community in that we say we're leading a heart-centered revolution. And I have a community there that every day brings me joy, uplifts me. And so that has been a huge answer to prayer for me. And I didn't even realize this was going to be a huge piece of my businesses, And so it's been really interesting. And again, just to finish, is I always say, follow your heart. And when opportunities come your way, look at them and listen to your heart. If they're saying yes, say yes. Take it, even if it's scary, because I always say, don't ever let your fear stand in the way of your dreams. And when I look back and at that saying yes to these two things that I pivoted in my businesses, I am so incredibly grateful. So incredibly grateful.
Yeah. Oh, that is so good. Yeah. Just be open, right? And
be open. Yeah. And the other thing too, Katie, I think is really important is that I had a pivot, because I had, the women that I was working with would come into my house, once a month. And so I had to pivot everything online. And I know probably a lot of people out there were scared. Is it going to, my question in myself, is it going to be as effective? Because I do energy work. And you know what? Believe it will be. And I am so, every single time I do I call them soul session online, you'll see me, I'll just be crying and the women will be crying. I mean, because it's so effective. But if I didn't believe it was
right.
going to be, it wouldn't have been. So just adapt, be creative, and it will be just as effective online. So I just took everything I do online now. So it's been great. I love working from home. Now I get to work from home all the time.
Isn't it nice? Because it's amazing what we can't. I think everyone was afraid at the beginning, well, it's not going to be the same. It's not the same. It's different. And it can be amazing to do these things from home. I know we've all, in my business too, I mean, it's just shifting and it's been really good. So just give it a try. It doesn't have to be horrible. Just pivot, be resilient, be positive. Hey, Chris. We have Chris and Joy and Phoenix all watching us this morning. This is awesome. Well, Stephanie, you are such a joy. And I know I'll see you again. It might be online eventually. Let's hope it's in person again. But thank you so much for sharing with us today. And if you are interested in more tips and just great conversation, tune in every Tuesday and every Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain for Tip Tuesday or Feature Friday with Business by Design Online. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you very soon. Have a great weekend.